and jump into tonight's podcast because we know that you're just not getting out of class, so we know that you're probably tired. You may be even hungry. So let's go ahead and just jump right in, guys. Oh, she's here. She said,
Oh, yes. Hi.
"Welcome, welcome."
Yeah.
So if it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I'm Ashley Anye, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader, and I'm just here to help y'all heal, all right? And we're healing with humor because laughter is always the best medicine. Talk to these people, bestie.
I am B, also known as Magoon. As I say all the time, I am just a tool for spirit to use as spirit pleases. So you'll see me operate in different gifts at any given moment of time. So yeah, and as Ashley stated, we are here to help you heal in any type of way, to be observant of some things, to hold those hands, pop those hands, make you dance, make you laugh, but ultimately to help you get pointed in the right direction.
That's right. We are here for you. We do this ish for you. Okay, This is why we're here. And thank you for joining. And we look forward to seeing how you enjoyed the episode. And hopefully you return. Okay. So without further ado, let's get it. Let's get it. So welcome back to another episode of Cards and Conversations, where we dive into the hidden mysteries of the universe, love, life, purpose, all of that. Now, tonight's episode is very powerful and maybe a little bit unsettling. Because nobody wants to hear, is it possible for someone to take what's for me? Nobody wants to even face that reality. Because if you have something that's for you, especially if you've been working hard towards this special thing, this goal, this idea, you don't want to think about the possibilities of someone being able to come in with the alley-oop and just swap it from you, swap it underneath you, like pulling the rug up underneath you. You don't even want to fathom that. That's just so unsettling, right? But yes people can realistically switch places in the spiritual realm. Why? Because everything is spiritual. As above, so below. And honestly, things happen in the spiritual realm way before they manifest in the physical realm. That's why they say when you manifest something, you're thinking about it, all right? You're in your 5D self. You're manifesting it, right? Trying to bring it into the physical realm. So everything happens in the spiritual realm before it hits Mother Gaia, all right? So a lot of people can take on destinies. Hi, Soraya!
Exactly.
Love you! A lot of people can take on destinies that were never meant for them.
Never.
All they gotta do is swoop in, peep the scene for someone that's low vibrational, that ain't on their P's and Q's, ain't on their block, and switcheroo. Seriously, guys, that's why you gotta stay prayed up. You gotta stay protected spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, right? So what is destiny swapping? You might ask. If you don't know by now, let me tell you what destiny swapping is, all right? So in the spiritual world, your destiny is like your divine blueprint. It's like what you were born with. This is what you are going to do. Yes, you have free will, but everyone has a destiny, which is why I always tell you guys, find out why you're here, what your purpose is, what you're supposed to be doing. Everyone is here for a reason. No one is here by mistake. You all have a destiny. You all have a blueprint, an inner moral compass that's supposed to guide you where you're supposed to go, right? And it's written way before you even get here, many, many eons ago. It's your path, it's your purpose, it's the lessons and the blessings that you were sent here to learn or relearn, because this is not your first rodeo, right? And it's because energy is never stagnant, all right? Destinies can sometimes shift, right? Because why? Energy can never be destroyed or created. It just is. It was always there. Energy has always been here, right? So this can happen through relationships, through karmic tides, and through energy exchange, which is why they always tell you, clear the air, watch who you hang around, be conscientious about who you are letting in your energy field, because if you're around someone who ain't really going nowhere, and you got dreams, hopes, and aspirations, and you tie yourself to someone who really don't want to do nothing, who really ain't trying to be nothing, go nowhere, guess what? They can definitely swap with you. And all of a sudden you see they looking good, they eating better, they doing better. Why? Because they have essentially attached themselves to your energy, which is attached to your destiny, right? And sometimes you don't even notice until it's too late, and you over here trying to make ends meet, okay? And they're over here leveling up, okay? They're on to the next one, basically. So be very careful, guys, about who you are with. People always think, oh, it's okay, I can hang with who I want to hang with, I can do whatever I want to do. If they ain't got the best intentions for themselves, guess what? What the are they going to have with you? How are they going to benefit you if they're not even trying to help themselves? Let's think about this. Everything is spiritual, guys, all right? So let me make this crystal clear. What's for you is for you, without a shadow of a doubt, right? Nobody can permanently take what God has for you, what the Most High has set and put in stone what is for you. But if you are unprotected, unaware, and unbalanced, sometimes people can temporarily sit in your seat. If you are unprotected, unaware, and unbalanced, sometimes people can sit at your table and sit in your seat and take what is for you.
Yes.
Because you were unaware that you needed to be protected. You were unaware that you needed to be doing right by people, to remain focused, to be on your P's and Q's. They can sit at your seat, at your table, right? So they literally can reap the benefits of your destiny, all right? And you guys are over here dealing with blockages, delays, and burdens that aren't even yours. They're coming from this other entity that you have allowed in your life. Has that even happened to you, Bestie? Have you been doing so good? Like, I'm talking like you on one. You're literally unstoppable, and then you get involved or you entertain someone, and all of a sudden your life goes from
yeah, yes.
And you're like, hold up.
What happened?
I was just on top. What is going on?
Exactly.
Hey,
yes. Hey, Ash. So it's funny that you asked me that, because I was just thinking about how, so in when we go to church, and I for those who don't know, I'm a church kid. I was raised, both of my parents were ministers, or my dad was a minister, my mom is a minister, right? So we used to hear, don't let anybody just touch you, right? And I was sharing this with some coworkers the other day, because they were showing us, like, you know how most people come in for a hug and they hug you like left hand, right hand to come in and embrace. But they said if somebody already has their hands like this and they try to go over your head, be wary of that, because they're trying to place something on you, right? Be careful of eating certain people's foods, which is why there's a lot of people that say, I don't eat everybody's cooking. No, that's a real thing. People put stuff in the food. Be wary of people gifting you with things, because they are siphoning out your energy. And this is why one conversation Ash and I had has been, whenever I get something new, sage it down. That's right. No matter where it's from, get the sage, get the Florida water and soak it. Do something to take off whatever is on it, because you don't know what you're bringing into your home, no matter who or where it's from. Now, if it's somebody like from a trusted individual, this is where I use my intuition, because sometimes some trusted individuals can have a little slight with them. You be like, hey, you good? Because I don't know. It's just, and it's just certain objects. And so real story. So my mom was saying how my sisters, somebody, because me and my sister have different dads. So somebody on her dad's side of the family gave something to my mom, and it was a tray of cookies, and they told my sister not to eat it. Now my mom is like, my sister was like 9 years old, something like that, and she's like, what 9-year-old will not at least try to sneak a cookie? And she didn't, but those special cookies were made for her. And so she was like, you didn't have one? She said, no. She said, did they tell you not to see? They didn't even want me to say it. Okay. So she said, did they tell you not to eat any of these cookies? And she said, whenever she said that, it was like my sister like broke out of a trance and was like, yeah, they did tell me that. She said, okay, thank you. I'll take them. She said, I threw them right in the trash can. And she said that when this family member, right before this family member passed away, she said, she called me and said, I know that there's nothing that we could do to you between you and your God. Mm-hmm. So these things are real. You don't know what people are doing out here in these streets. So that's I'm telling you. But as far as myself, I haven't gone through a change where it was things was going down per se. I would just say it was one of those things where I noticed my mood, how I acted was changing. Like it was like I was always me, but then it was like I started to notice that I would have darker thoughts, not like depressive thoughts. Let me put it that way. And I'm just like, yeah, this person, they dropping little seeds here and there, and we gotta do something about that because that's not who I am. And so that's when I had to start separating myself from people. Yep.
And you know what, Betsy? I think sometimes our ego gets the best of us, and we're like, "Oh, well, I'm a chosen one. I'm a star seed. I'm an earth angel. Can't nobody penetrate this." Listen, because you're a chosen one, you're a star seed, you're an earth angel. You have to be extra careful who you are around, who you are allowing in your energy field, who you are giving your energy to, because they know that you're special. They know that your energy is precious, is priceless. It has potential, even if you're not quite there yet. They see it. So don't let your ego get the best of you and have you out here thinking that it's okay to befriend any and everyone. It's okay to help out any and everyone, because that's when you will find yourself broke, busted, and disgusted trying to figure out where you went wrong.
Right.
What happened? It was all good just a week ago. What happened?
Exactly.
God, listen, Bessie will tell you, like, first off, you have to know yourself, understand yourself, because if you know what you are capable of and your own potential, and you look back and you can notice, like, where things went wrong, you'll see when your life shifted.
Exactly.
When was that pivotal moment where your life went from here to here? And look at all the people that played a part in that. And that will tell you right there what happened. So thank you for using that example, because you do have to be careful. What do they say in Louisiana? Don't eat everyone's red gravy. Because I'm telling you, people will put stuff in their food, and you think that people don't know about witchcraft? People subconsciously don't even know that they are doing witchcraft by practicing witchcraft, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes you don't even know that you're practicing voodoo by doing certain things. And that goes without saying when it comes to witchcraft. Like, some people don't even know that, when they're thinking about something, as they're cooking, as they're putting those spices in, their thoughts are going into their food, which is why they say be careful eating from someone who's depressed, who's upset, who's mad, who's angry, because that goes into the food. Be careful talking to someone as you're doing something that involves cultivating something, creating something that goes into the energy. Everything carries a vibration. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So you have to be careful, right, Pre now? You got to be careful. You really do, because everything carries a vibration. So this happens when your energy is unguarded, when you allow yourself to share space with someone who isn't fully aligned. And no one is going to be 100%, especially if they're trying to learn and they're evolving and they're trying to find their space in their place in life, right? But this is why protecting your aura, cutting cords, taking spiritual baths is so important, and standing firm in your divine feminine and masculine energy is essential, because you can't afford to let someone else occupy your throne. You cannot afford to let someone else occupy your throne. That's why you got to protect yourself, okay? Check yourself, protect yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? Now, let's get into some little examples of, destiny swapping, okay? So, destiny swapping doesn't even just affect love, okay? Sometimes it can show up in career and finances, right? Have you ever seen someone get the job, the contract, or the recognition that they received, knowing deep down it was meant for you or someone else who may have worked harder? Sometimes it's not that you weren't qualified or that person that you knew should have gotten it wasn't qualified. It's because your energy was scattered, unbalanced, and someone else was more aligned with that position, and that's why they got the recognition. All right, you opened yourself up spiritually for someone to be able to come in and take what was really meant for you because you were unbalanced. Being balanced is so important. Aligning yourself is so important. Being one with yourself is so important because it's so easy for someone to come in and swipe what was meant for you. Okay, spiritually we call that taking the seat. In the spiritual room we call that someone took your seat. Someone took your spot, basically, right? But again, hear me out. If you are spiritually aligned and protected, no one can take what's for you. And this makes me think about a reel or a short, that I posted on YouTube. It was a self-proclaimed witch. And she said it's easy for you to put a spell on people, but you cannot put a spell on someone who is walking in their truth. And people were flooding the comments. I'm protected by the blood of Jesus. Can nobody put a spell on me? If you're not walking in your path, walking in your truth, and you are spiritually protected, it is quite very well easy for someone to put a spell on you. And you might not even know that a spell is on you. That's the crazy part. It's so easy for someone to put spiritual hands on you if you're not walking in your truth and if you're not speaking your truth. Because again, if you're not vibrating on the same frequency as the universe, you open. You busting it wide open out here, okay?
You a blank check. You are a blank check. You are a blank check.
Anybody can write what they want on that check. You literally are a busted baby. You busting it wide open. So anyone could come in and infiltrate and take what's yours and make it theirs. That's why they say walk in your truth, speak your truth, live in your truth, because then you are aligning on the same vibrations as the universe, okay? Now, I don't know if we talked about this yet because I've been yapping and don't know what's happening, but people can also switch destinies with you if you are aligned or if you are in a connection with a divine counterpart. So the person that is connected to your divine counterpart, that person can also switch destinies with you. And I'll get more into detail so you guys understand what that means. And when I say divine counterpart, I just mean that someone that you are spiritually connected to. Maybe you have a spiritual contract with them. You guys wrote long time ago that you guys were going to come together on this plane and try to rectify all the different differences so that you guys can come into union. So ladies, have you ever noticed when you meet a man and suddenly your whole life feels delayed, blocked, or off balance? This can be a sign that you have energetically swapped destinies with someone attached to this partner. So maybe this partner is attached to a karmic partner. And I'm not saying like you go from like feeling good, looking good to being sick. What I mean is like you feel like you're not yourself. Like you said, Bestie, you just feel like, okay, it's just something not right with me. I had a whole lot of energy 2 weeks ago. Now I just feel like I'm tired. I'm stressed for no reason. What's really going on? And that's why you have to do spiritual check-ins with yourself too. Bestie is so good with doing that with the spiritual reports that you do.
Progress reports.
Just like a mental progress reports. Yes, I'm sorry. That is so important because you have to do a check-in with yourself to make sure that you're good and that you're filling your own cup up. Because if not, how can you pour for other people? So that's why it's so important for you guys to understand your own energy so that you know when it's being siphoned, and call your energy back to you every single night, because you don't know who's out there running rapid with it, like who's out there just like running them up with it. So yes, this can happen when you meet someone and you're good, but then after you meet them, you just feel like, damn, like why am I experiencing all these delays? How come way before I met you, I was good. I was busy. I had more energy. Now that I met you, like,
Exactly.
I feel like my life is just kind of just like taking a turn for the worse, right? That could be because, you know, your person that you met is attaching themselves to a karmic partner, and they're siphoning your energy simultaneously through this divine counterpart. Is that not crazy? So what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying basically in layman's terms is you meet someone, your life goes downhill because the person that they're attached to is siphoning your energy. Ain't that some ish?
Right.
Ain't that some ick? Okay, because if a person is supposed to be your divine counterpart, but they're still entangled with someone, a karmic or someone who is, you know, low
Yes.
vibrational, that person can be feeding off of your blessings. And you can't afford to let someone else, like I said, occupy your throne. Yes, energy vampires. Priscilla
Yes.
said it better. Energy vampires. This is what we call them.
Mm-hmm.
And do not take them lightly. Bestie, I know you have some stories about energy vampires. I mean, you get around someone, you think they're good. When you leave them, you're like, damn, I feel like I just got smacked in the face. Like,
And
I feel like I have nothing left to give.
And sometimes it's beforehand. Like if I meet somebody and they give me a bad vibe, I stay away from them as much as possible. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm not letting this person touch me. I'm a listen to them, but I'm a listen lightly, right? That in fact that what was it, the magical conference that I went to a few weeks ago, there was a presenter presenting, and I kid you not, as I was sitting there, my grandmother yelled into my face, and it was one like again, church kid. You know how when your grandmother look at you and whisper in your ear, you better not do. She was like, you. She said, you better not stick your hand in that pot. You better not touch anything inside of it. You can handle the bowl, but pass it along to somebody else. And I said, okay. And I just looked at it, and it was like I could feel her looking at me like as soon as you put your hand in, I'm about to pop your hands. I said, yes, grandmother, I'm not gonna touch anything. And I said, yeah, let me put this thing before she whooped me on from the other side. Like, ma'am, what? I'm grown. Good and grown.
Leave me alone. Wait a minute, but what's a telltale sign for you? Because I know you being a Cancer, you know off the rip when someone's not good. What is a telltale sign that you
So
know that someone's energy is just off?
it for me, it feels dark. Like that's the only way I can. It's like I can feel light, and it's like I feel dark. And the best way for me to describe it is, so whenever I would get depressed as a child and then as a teenager, I noticed that the temperature of my body would get cold, right? And so, but when I was happy, my temperature would rise. So it's something similar to that, only I don't
Okay.
physically turn cold. It's just like it's like in my spirit, I just feel like a coldness, a darkness. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay, this person got something with them. Like
yeah.
even so, and I know some people would say, but what about like if you're missing like basically the red flags, right? Because if we're
Yeah.
looking at somebody and in our physical is talking more so than our spiritual, than our discernment, than our third eye, we will
Mm-hmm.
miss all of those. We be like, baby, he got a little cold heart, but he just needs some loving and I can warm him up. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Mm-mm.
Walk away.
Mm-mm.
That was not meant for you. Just say, oh, she cold. Oh, she cold. Yeah, okay. Well, you have a nice day, ma'am. You have a nice day, sir. And go on about your business. Don't tempt it.
Mm-hmm.
Do not tempt the cold.
And we call that our spidey senses because I think
Mm-hmm.
as healers we always say, "Oh, I can fix it. I can rectify it. Just let me get my hands on it. Put them paws on them, you know." And we have to be conscientious of that because some stuff is not our cross to bear.
Mm-hmm. And
Some
and
stuff is not our cross to bear.
and to that point, there was a lady years ago that looked at me and she said, she kept popping my hands, and I was like, woman, like stop. She was like, you can't touch everything. You can't touch everything. And but a friend of mine had said that as well. And she said, B, she said the type of person that you are, you can't touch everything because like who you are, the basically like the dark realm would try to take over. And that is true, because depending, for some people, like you touch certain things and it gets a hold of you and you can't let it go. Like you have to be stripped. That's why you see in certain movies how when somebody get a hold of something, they're like, oh well, this person's possessed, this person has had like a spiritual exchange, right? And it's like, we have to do this, kill a lamb and bathe in the lake and all this, and people are like, I don't have to do all these extremes. No, sometimes you have to do those extremes because of how the thing has attached itself to you. And to that point, I had written earlier, because when you were talking about the destined folk, like when we're spiritually connected and have been destined to do stuff together, I forgot the exact term you used, so forgive me. But I heard master the earth together, and the revelation of that was not master the earth like I'm taking over the world, but master the earth. This is earth. Our flesh is earth.
Yeah.
So whatever our experiences are, we are here to master that, to learn from that. And then as it pertains um to being tricked into touching stuff and to doing things, that's where we have these cults and cult leaders. And sometimes the person may not be a cult leader, but they have cultish ways. You have to do this, you have to do that. And as I was stating that, y'all know I'm in the fraternal world, and I'm like, oh, that's what people are seeing, but they're not seeing the other side, right? But that's not what that is. To that, it's not to that extreme. Let me first state that. But cultish behavior is when so I've been in I've seen several churches where the pastor is like, you can only do this for me. Outside of these walls, then we're going to have a problem. I've even heard ministers to say, or pastors to say, you need to let me know where you're going at all times. Excuse me? Why do I have to? I'm grown. If me and my family wish to take vacation, we don't have to get it approved by you. But how it was dressed was, we just want to know so we can protect you. But isn't that God's job to protect us? Isn't that why we have angels to protect us too? So why do you feel like it's your job to protect me? That's a red flag, and you have ministries that actually do this, and they start to have this cultish behavior, and you start to see it because people will start to act a certain way. They start to say things a certain way, and it's like, where did you get this from? Oh, well, my pastor said, or the prophet of the house said, and I'm just like, yeah, but what did God say? Right? That's when I measure up the words of man with God. I think for those who also don't know, okay, I guess tonight is the night of revelation. So for those who don't know, I am an ordained minister. And there was a ministry who didn't want to put me forth because of who I am, right? And this is outside of the spiritual realm, right? So, but the thing that I kept saying, God was like, I called you, I called you, I called you. And I'm like, okay, but if you called me, why don't they see it? And he said, they do. But what was happening is at a certain point, things started happening to these people. So I left the ministry. I said, God, can you please stop attacking them? I actually do love them. I actually do. Even though they're harming me, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Who said that? Right. So sometimes we have to know that sometimes it's we have to walk away from certain people to protect them. And they're going to be so ego-minded that they're going to be like, oh, well, they left because they weren't right with God. And you have to water on a duck's back. Shake it off. Okay, well, you can talk about me all you want. And that's why I do not have any problems about people who talk about me, because I know the truth. And what they say, the proof is in the pudding. the truth will always come out. So that's why people say, oh, well, you don't care what people think. No, because if I did, I would never be where I am today. I will always limit myself and confine myself. And guess what? That's not destiny swapping, but it's definitely a destiny hindrance. Right?
That's right.
Because you won't like that. You won't go any further than what you think that these other people will approve. But people will never approve something about you.
That's right.
That
is, I can't even build. Bro, I can't even build off of that. That is so true. People will always have something to say regardless of what you are doing. That's why you have to know yourself. It's not about being cocky. It's not about being in your ego. It's about knowing yourself so that when somebody comes up against you and tries to tell you who they think you are, you already know off the rip. That's why you have to know yourself. Spend time with yourself. Put them dogs in the dirt. Meditate. Ground is so important, especially at a time like this in the world. We are in the Aquarius age, the information age, the age of knowing. You have to know yourself, especially before you try to get in a relationship with someone else. You got to know yourself first. There's so many people in this world that think they know themselves and they are learning themselves. While you are learning yourself, spend some time by yourself.
Exactly. And Vivacious, I saw your comment about how your body would jerk. So whenever I was younger, how it was for me was just imagine you put a drop of water in a puddle of water and it makes that ripple effect. Well, I would go to certain places and that would feel like a ripple effect, and I would have to just stand there like, what was that? But that was my discernment kicking in from a different source, and it would happen in so many different places. And I was told, oh, well, that's demonic spirits, and I'm like, no, I don't know what that was, because I would get that in church, in different churches, and I'm like, are you telling me that I'm experiencing demonic spirits and the things? No, it could very well have been, right? But at that time in my life, I was like, I don't think it's demonic, but it's definitely a shift somewhere. There's a energetic shift.
That is crazy. I know Pre has said something else. Her whole body jerks and shakes. I always wondered what that was. That's your intuition, baby.
It's like, get off me. Get off me.
That's your moral compass letting you know that something's not right, something is off. And we often dismiss that. Oh, okay, well, that's not. No, that is your intermoral compass telling you what something is and what something ain't. So listen, Free. You know, girl, you are intuitive, and you are Sagittarius, so you are always seeking knowledge. You know, trust yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Get off me.
Right. Get off me. Yes.
Because what that is that's just what lower vibrational entity trying to almost like trick you, trying to like tell you, oh no, like I'm good, like trust me, I'm good. Not if I'm feeling like I'm not good, you can't be good. If I feel like you ain't good, how can you be good for me? Like that's that lower vibrational entity playing tricks on your mind. So you got it, Free. You got it, girl. So yeah, so guys, always remember, if you've been feeling blocked, delayed, or not yourself, or like someone else is living the life that you were supposed to have, ask yourself, am I protected? Am I aware? Am I balanced? If you feel like someone else is simultaneously taking over your life and getting your blessings that you should have received, ask yourself, are you balanced? Are you walking in your truth? Are you walking in your divine truth, your divine light? Because the universe knows when you are not being authentic. Other folks may not know. Other people may be blinded by your intentions, but you cannot fool the universe. You cannot fool spirit. You cannot fool the ancestors. Okay? Hello? Like,
you can't.
they know when you are not being authentic. And that's why your blessings are being delayed, because you are not being authentic. You're not keeping it a buck. You're literally like just either doing what you have to do to get by, or you are existing to make someone else happy. Don't do that. Living your truth, walking your truth, speak your truth as often as possible. So it's about that time where it's time for us to ask B, where B puts tarot to the test. But first,
yes, but first I got to share something real quick. Because when you were talking earlier about the food, so ironically, when I was at my freshman year, one of my first classes was a sociology class called What's for Dinner, and the whole premise of the class was about food, eating, and how that shaped society. And there's one movie that came up. It's called Babette's Feast, and I had to look it up to make sure that was the right one. But it's Babette's Feast. And what happens is this lady and her sisters go to this country. It's like a poor country. And they decide, hey, well, let's open up a bakery. But every time they serve the food, depending on the mood of Babette, the people would leave eating the food feeling that same way. And it showed how she was pouring her energy into the food. So please, if that, it's a good movie too. If you like old historical movies like that time period, it's a really good movie. Another movie which sparked this whole conversation for tonight is one that is recently out by Netflix. And I sent it to Ashley. I said, we absolutely have to do an episode on destiny swapping. And it is called Behind Her Eyes. So if you have not seen that, please go check that out, because it shows how somebody can befriend you, peep into your life, and then try to steal your life right before your eyes. Yeah. So yeah, Gemini seen it. Right. I said, oh my goodness. I said, this is it. Because how many times, and then for the people that come into our lives, is that the real person or is it a disguise? Right. Mm-hmm. That's why when we have these close friendships and these bonds, and we said this at another episode, and I said, when you know your friends, when somebody tries to tell you something about your friends that you know is not true, that's not my friend. That's not my friend. I have a friend that has a lot of mental health issues. And so she had an episode and she basically cursed me out, right? And for years, we did not talk because she was afraid of what I would say. So one day she got the guts and she said, hey, how are you? And I said, I'm fine. How are you? And she said, you're not mad at me? I said, no, I've been waiting for you. I said, because I know my friend. And I also know that that was not you who I was talking to. And when I broke it down to her, all she could do was cry. And she said, I can't believe I have somebody like you in my life. I said, no, because I know you well enough to know who you are and when something is happening. So, and I do that with all my friends. When something's off, I'm like, hey girl, what's up? Like you acting a little strange. This is not my friend. I need my friend back. Who done put something on you? Who did something to you? Do I need to come? This is my Sagittarius side, because I'd be like, hey, who I need to regulate? Like who I need to get it together? Who I need to joke up and yoke up and what's up? And I do this with all my friends across the board, young, old, all of them. So that's why. And then the other is I just started watching The Witcher. It just came across and I said, well, let me go ahead and watch. And then I'm looking at destiny swapping there as well, even to the point where they showed a necromancer cutting off the skin of somebody to figure out how. And I said, that is so funny, because I know several people who would say, I have an aunt that says this, like when she's combing her hair, oh no, baby, I'm picking up all my hair. I'm picking it off the ground because you're not taking my hair and putting something on me. I know people like that. They're like, no, they're like, hold on, did I?
Like
and they're like,
I'm like that.
That's why a lot of people have protected hairstyles so their loose strands don't get out. While the hair wraps, I was just about to say the hair wraps, all of that, because I don't want to leave DNA for you to put something on me. As they say, I don't want the roots to be put on me. Okay, And so I said, right, and but there's so many people who do things mindlessly, do all kind of things, and no, like you have to. Oh, go ahead.
You gotta be careful. I always tell my daughters, don't use other people's combs. And when you get finished using a comb, make sure you take the hair out and either put it someplace, but don't throw it away. Because you have people that will literally do dumpster diving and be looking for your ish and will take your ish and do voodoo on it. It's more people that know and practice voodoo than you guys realize. It's more people that know and practice voodoo than you guys realize. So be conscientious about who you let using your comb. And stop wearing other people's shoes.
Yeah.
Okay? I always tell people that, like, there are certain articles of clothing that you have to be careful of loaning out and lending to people. Like, don't let your hair be any and everywhere, and don't be wearing everybody's shoes. This is an old wives' tale. Like, but still, like, I still practice these practices to this day, but I'm very conscientious about telling my girls, don't use other people's combs. Not only because it's the cleanliness issue, but still you just don't know what other people's parents or family members are practicing. So just be careful with that. I'm always careful about all type of stuff when it comes to DNA. We have a question, B.
Okay, and I was gonna say, and one last thing, ladies. This is the first time I had heard this, and I got this from a lady, and I said, "Girl, what?" She said, "Yo, yeah, people would do stuff like this." She said when she was younger and she had sanitary pads, she said, I would collect them and I would burn them. She said, because you're not taking my blood to do any type of blood magic on me.
Yeah.
I said,
seriously?
She said, so like when she cut herself, when she, how you cut yourself, she's like, nope, I put it all, she's like, I keep it all in one little bag. She's like, I go to my yard and I burn it myself because nobody's getting my DNA. And I said, oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's more people practicing voodoo than you guys realize. You have to be careful about that type of stuff. And we'll go ahead and use your question Miss Vivacious, as Ask Me, since you were the first to ask a question, my love.
And then also for anybody who's maybe new or who will be new, explain to them what Ask Me is. Real quick.
Okay, so if this is your first time here, guys, we designate the end of the segment for anyone to be able to ask me any question under the sun, whether it's love, relationship, that weird dream you had last night. This is your chance to ask me any question that you have, and he will answer it accordingly. Sometimes he uses tarot, sometimes he uses this right here, his brain, okay? Because he is cut all the way in. So this is your time to ask me. I know you mentioned that you wanted to only take one question because time is of the essence now, but we do this every episode. We do this. So if you don't get to ask your question tonight, you can always DM me or B, and we'll answer it next episode, or he'll answer it next episode.
Yeah. So also, before I answer the question, I did pull some cards earlier, and one of the things that came out is the fact that for most people, when they have a destiny swap, it is pertaining to love, because people covet other people's love. We have the Knight of Cups here, and then the next card was the Tower moment. Oh, also it said, Spirit said it may not necessarily also just be a loved one, but something that you highly love. So, and then there's the Tower moment that comes, but Spirit always reveal the true plans, because the Hierophant card here represents what's yours, what's meant for you is meant for you. So no matter how they destiny swap, it's going to correct itself. Basically, it's going to self correct. And they said, Spirit basically said that tonight was a message for somebody. Page of Wands here. This is the message. And Spirit is saying, trust me with the Fool card here. Trust me. It's going to work out. Everything's going to be fine. And there was a card that kept wanting to come out, and I haven't flipped it over. So I'm flipping it over now. Like, this is the card. I still ain't looking at it. We're going to look at it together. 6 of Cups in the reverse. So there's some things that happened in the past, some magic tree that happened in the past that is now going to self-correct itself. Because that's another thing. Thank you, Spirit, for telling me, for releasing that. So what I just saw was, this is why you also have to be careful with your children. This is why they can't go to everybody's house. Because people will try to swap destinies with your child.
Yep.
They will do things to children, unbeknownst to you, unbeknownst to the child, because children don't really know what to look for, right? They're still learning. Right. And so they're gullible to eating foods, to wearing these jewelry and taking gifts, right? And so sometimes things can happen to you as a child, and you're like, why did this happen to me as a child? And it's because somebody put something on you. Yeah. And to change your course of destiny. Like, there's a lot of women, when I listen to their stories, and it's not really just women, right, that for what I'm about to say, but it's mostly women that this happened to. But when women get raped, their whole mindset change. And me and my classmate here, we had a class that talked about how traumatic events can literally change your DNA, your physical DNA, right? So if that can happen in the physical, just imagine what's happening to you spiritually.
Spiritually, yep.
So it's transforming and changing your destiny. And so you have to be wary of these things. And that's why it's important for the young woman, the young lady, to heal so that she can get back on the course of action. Right. That's meant for her, because it's inevitable that's going to happen, right? But she has to be able to, and be able and willing to face what has happened to her, so she can release it and change back her genetic code, DNA code. So now we're going to go ahead and answer the question. But I did have to talk about that really quickly. Okay. Oh, okay. Making sure. Okay. The first card is the Hangman. I'm going to show that to you because I just saw it. And it's in the upright position. So it's Spirit definitely wants you to know that you have, it's something that you're not missing, because it's a perspective thing that's happening with you. It's like you could see the message, but you're not perceiving it as the message, if that makes any sense. 2 cards want to come out. Yeah, we have the Magician card. Or hold on, here's the Fool card here, or the Hangman, not the Fool, the Hangman card here. And then we have the Magician. So it's some things that you've been calling to yourself that you're not seeing. The next card that's here is the 4 of Wands, but it's in reverse. So it's something dealing with definitely a traumatic event. That's this is kind of like taking its course. I'm hearing barren lands, barren, something about being barren, right? And because of this thing being barren in your life, and it could be, say it is your love life, right? Because love is such a strong energy, right? When we center a lot of stuff around love and we don't have it, it's almost like we cut off the light. And it's like, oh, I have nothing to work with. And Spirit is saying, no, you have more than just love. You have hope, you have joy, you have peace, all these things, passion about, like your gifts, right? Like your not your spiritual gifts, but your natural gifts and abilities, right? That passion for why you do those things is there. You can pull from that energy. But whenever we are focused on one aspect of our lives, we put so much attention into what we don't have that it puts us in the spirit of lack. And that's why Spirit is always saying, and I actually said this on a spiritual progress report maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, about how we have to pay attention to those things that's the opposite, right? So if we know, say if you're saying all the time, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, that's your focus on you being broke, you're going to continue that cycle. But whenever you say, oh, I have a roof over my head, it's paid for. I have a car that I'm able to drive. It's paid for. I have food, and you be thankful for that, and you continue to be grateful for the things that you do have. It changes your energy. So now money is starting to be drawn towards you. This next card that just came out is the Page of Cups. So something being offered to you. So it's happiness being offered to you. I'm not so much as getting love, but it's almost like once you figure out how to pay attention to the good, it's like then this thing will happen for you. Because one of the things about your purpose and your destiny is once you start to figure out what you're going to do, you get excited. Like, really? I've been called to do that? Like, what? And it's like Spirit is saying, pay attention to what is right now. What I just heard was stop trying to figure it out and let it hit you in the head. That's what I heard. It's just like, and I don't know, for whatever reason I saw Jungle Book. So that may resonate with you for some kind of way. But I just saw the cartoon version of Jungle Book, Disney version. But I also just saw where I think it's with the monkeys, where Mowgli was with the monkeys and they would start singing and dancing, and it's like fruit is being thrown to him or something like that, as thrown at him. It's something about fruit. And I know Baloo did something too, dancing and singing with fruit. It's something about the fruit. That's the scene that I'm oh, okay. Spirit, you funny. Spirit said it's the bare necessity song. Because remember, he's saying you have to have the bare necessities, right? You don't have to have all of this lavishness. It's the simple things that you have. And when you have the bare essentials of what you need, when you look at the bare essentials, necessities, of your life, right? When it's nothing else, when you take away all your distractions and all you have is you, what is it that you have? That's what you focus on. What did you come into this earth with? Besides your good looks, right? Right. So it's like, what else did you come on this earth with? That helps you to know what is your purpose and your destiny. Because everything else, Spirit wanted me to pick up this card. You see, the magician has this wand. The magician is a magician because of who he is. The wand is an extension of who he is. So that's how I'm seeing this. Everything else an extension of who you already are. So who are you to your core? So I hope this helps. I really do.
Let us know in the comments, Pre. Let us know in the comments, Pre.
Yeah, I'm not getting any more cards. But it's nice. I'm not gonna, as our good Soraya say, I'm not gonna hold you. This is a nice spread. This is a very nice spread. Yes, yes, and we should always do that. I know, and but I'm like this in class too. She would tell you I'm like this in class.
Yeah, it's giving Michael Jackson. You know, started something. Got to be starting something.
But no, like, oh, and that was the thing, because I did briefly tell her like the topic, because we were talking about racism, right? And I said, and I often said there is always something about racism that seems a little magical to me. So now my mind is like, was there a spell cast? Was something done to say we need to destiny swap with this certain group of people? Because how do you trick a group of people that is known for making history? And we still make history, right? We're still making things never heard of. I just read an article the other day where a young lady made a potential cure for cancer. Black woman. We're still doing this. How can somebody so in tune be tricked? Something magical about it.
How is that possible? And I think it's just because they were master manipulators, honestly. I think if you are a master manipulator, you can essentially trick anybody out of something, especially when they don't know themselves, which is why we always will preach, know thyself. Things fall apart. I haven't read that.
Yeah, yes, I read that book in high school by Chinua Achebe. That is a very good book. Very good book.
I need to read that.
That's a very good book.
On my good read list. I have been calling out my gratitude for the smallest things. The card. Yep. That's right, Pri. When you profess to the universe that you are grateful for the things that you already have, the bare necessities, that's when the universe brings in more. When you're grateful for what you already have, that's when you're basically telling the universe, I'm good with what I have, but I could always get more.
Yes.
Locked and loaded. Load it up, universe. Load it up, okay? Because you are telling the universe, look, I'm grateful for what I have. Send me more. Send me more. I love it. I need to read that though, Holly. Things Fall Apart. That's a good read.
It's a very good read. Very good read. Yeah, I may need to. I may need to reread that. It's one of those. It's a really good book. And like I said, because I read that when I was in high school, so now I need to read it as an adult to pull out what I need as an adult. So, but yes, that's a very good read.
Yeah, when you reread things, when you're at a different stage of your life, it just hits different. Like the downloads, the gems, the little sparks that you missed before, it hits different. So I always try to reread anything that I read, like in high school or college. I always try to reread. And if you're in the market of discovering yourself, I do have an ebook. It's in the link in my bio to help you find your soul's mission, your soul's purpose. I know that you know who you are, you know where you're going, but that's just a little self-help ebook to guide you on where you're going. Who's the author of that book, Holly or B? Can you let us know?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I spell his name right. Holly, you can continue to write your answer, and I'll put it in the chat.
You're welcome, my love. Okay, so I can
yeah. Oh, hold on.
Comment yet. I pinned it. Thank you, Harley. We pinned it.
Yeah, it's Chinua. Chinua. Yeah.
Okay. Can I pin 2 comments at once? I don't know. That's right, songs too. That's right, Soraya. You know. Songs too. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love y'all.
That's why they say protect your ear, your eye gate, your mouth gate. Watch what you say. Like, you have to do all those things. Yep.
Watch what you listen to. Watch who you listen to. Okay, I think I can pin this one in. Yeah. You gotta be conscientious about who you listen to, what you listen to, and when you're listening to it. So thank you so much, Pri, for asking me, for being brave enough to come on here and ask me. We appreciate, love, and we value you. Thank you for all the new and returning people that came. Yes. We love y'all. We love it here. Okay, this is a soul family. We are a family. Okay, and in case you guys missed last week's episode, we do have gear. He's not wearing it. I haven't got mine yet, but we do have Cards and Conversations gear. Okay, swag, street gear. He's gonna go get his where you guys can, represent for your team. Okay. And I cannot wait to get my sweatshirt. It is hoodie season, and the gear is fly. It's fresh to death. B will show y'all. It's fresh. It comes in a variety of colors. I'm gonna get black. Black is staple. But check that out, y'all. I mean, check out the drip. Okay. The drip is dripping.
It is.
Dripping. It tells y'all the podcast, what time we come on, what we talking about. Like, the drip is dripping.
Yep.
So I definitely got to get that. I cannot wait to get mine.
And it is coming up on hoodie season to Soraya. So yes.
The drip is dripping. That's right, Pri. Okay, that's the drip sign. I'm so honored, but Luke, listen. Soraya had to tell me what YN meant. I was like, what is YN? I keep seeing YN. She was like, girl, I was like, I literally almost passed out. I'm so not in tune with the up-to-date, lingo. I was like, why I keep seeing YN? What is YN? Anyway, so yes, make sure y'all check out the website. I think it's linked in your bio, B, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's linked in B's bio, so check it out if you want to get the gear and support your soul family. So if that is it, we are going to conclude tonight's episode of Cards and Conversations. Just so you guys know, we do this every Tuesday night, 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. Same place, Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds its bag of intrigue and discussions. But guys, remember, the cards do not dictate your fate. They simply illuminate your choices. So choose wisely, love deep, stay aligned. Girl, my daughter always says 6, 7. I'm like, what, 8, 9, 10? What? She's like, no, Mom, stop. I'm like, what? Are we counting here? What is 6, 7? My daughter always says that. I don't know if that's like a song or if that's a trending. I don't know what that is, but I always see her saying spin. I'm like, okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know what's going on. We will see you guys next week. Same time. Be like, what? Listen, if I didn't have children, I wouldn't know what that meant either. Girl, thank you for saying that, because I'm thinking it actually means something. But okay, I'll let her know that it means nothing, so stop saying it. Anyways, all right, we'll see you guys next week. Stay dangerous. Love y'all.
Yes. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.